15 food items you should stockpile before inflation gets worse in 2026 are not unfamiliar. They are the things you buy every week until one day you no longer see them there. Not because they disappear, but because everyone realizes at the same time that they need them. And that is when you lose. Inflation does not arrive as a shock. It comes as a new habit. You still shop the same way, but each time you leave something behind, then another, until you realize you are no longer living the same way. And when you realize, you are already behind. This list is not about buying more, but about not having to buy in panic. Because there are foods that, when prices rise, you still have to buy. And when they disappear, you have no alternative. At the end of the list are items you would not expect. And very likely, it is already sitting in your kitchen right now. 15. White rice. The thing you think is always there, until it disappears from the shelf. If tomorrow something disappears, it will not be an expensive item. It will be something you use every day. Rice. When the flow of goods tightens, foundational items are always the first to run out. Not because they are rare, because everyone needs them at the same time. Rice is not just food. It is the backbone of a meal. You can lack meat, lack snacks, but when you lack rice, a meal is no longer a meal. And that is why every time the market shifts, rice does not rise slowly. It jumps in waves. But what determines whether rice truly stays with you or not is not the price. It is how you store it. The key is not buying more. The key is isolating rice from air and insects. Move rice from thin packaging into airtight containers. If possible, use oxygen absorbers. Keep it in a dark, dry place. And there is a small detail many people overlook. Add a few dried bay leaves into the container. Their natural scent keeps insects away for years. No chemicals. Not complicated, but effective. A very common mistake is opening a large bag and using it gradually. Each time you open it, you introduce air and moisture. A better way is to portion it from the start. Use one portion at a time and keep the rest sealed. White rice lasts longer than brown rice because the oils that go rancid have been removed. That is not less nutritious. It is trading short-term freshness for long-term stability. And in a period of price volatility, stability always wins. You do not need a kitchen full of food. You need one thing that does not disrupt your life. Rice is that thing. And the question is not whether you buy rice. It is whether you are storing it the way you did yesterday, or the way someone prepared for tomorrow would. 14. Instant noodles. The cheapest thing today. But the first thing to be cleared off the shelves when prices start rising. You may think instant noodles are just a temporary option. But notice this. Whenever the economy shakes, whenever people start worrying about money, the fastest thing to disappear from shelves is not meat, not expensive items. It is noodles. Because noodles are the last choice, when every other option becomes too expensive. The price of a pack of noodles may seem insignificant, but behind it are wheat, vegetable oil, production costs, transportation. When energy prices rise, when supply chains are affected, noodle prices do not stay still. They rise slowly, but steadily. And by the time you realize it, you can no longer buy it at the price you are used to. But the reason instant noodles become important is not just about price. It is about how they keep you going. A pack of noodles is not perfect nutritionally, but it gives you calories. It gives you a sense of fullness. And more importantly, it gives you a hot meal, something many people take for granted until they no longer have it. That is why noodles are always on the list of items to buy early. Storing noodles is not complicated, but not everyone does it right. The key is keeping them away from moisture and heat. The thin paper or plastic packaging from the store is not long-term protection. When moisture gets in, noodles lose their crispness and spoil faster than you think. Simply moving them into airtight containers and keeping them in a dry place can extend their shelf life significantly. A small tip many people overlook: do not just stockpile noodles. Think about how to upgrade them. A little egg, some beans, or anything you have can turn a simple pack into a more complete meal. This not only helps you save money, but also prevents you from getting tired of eating the same thing repeatedly. Many people think they can always buy more noodles later. But when prices start rising, when stockpiling behavior spreads, noodles are among the first things to be taken off the shelves. And at that point, you are no longer choosing what to eat. You are choosing what is left. Right now, in your kitchen, are noodles just a quick meal? Or are they part of your plan for when things are no longer as quick as they used to be? 13. Sugar, sweet, but one of the fastest rising in price during a crisis. Sugar is one of the simplest things in the kitchen, but also one of the most underestimated when it comes to inflation. Most people think of it as just a seasoning, but in reality, sugar sits at the center of a very sensitive supply chain. The price of sugar does not depend only on sugarcane or sugar beets, but also directly on energy, fertilizer, and transportation. When oil prices rise, production and refining costs go up as well. And when extreme weather affects harvests, supply can drop very quickly. That is why in many inflation periods, sugar often rises in price faster than you expect. Nutritionally, sugar is not something you use to eat for health, but it plays an important role in providing quick energy. When the body is tired or low on energy, a small amount of sugar can help you recover faster. But its biggest value is not there. The real strength of sugar is its storage ability. If kept dry and sealed, sugar can last for decades without spoiling. Bacteria need moisture to grow, and sugar provides almost none. That is also why it has been used to make jams, syrups, and preserve fruit for hundreds of years. A small but valuable tip: do not keep sugar in paper packaging or thin store bags. Move it into airtight containers or use moisture absorbers. If sugar hardens into lumps, do not throw it away. It is not spoiled, it has just absorbed moisture. You can still use it. The most common mistake is thinking you can always buy sugar anytime. But when prices start rising, it becomes one of the fastest items to disappear from shelves, because it is used in so many different foods. How much sugar do you have in your kitchen right now? 1 pack, or enough for a few weeks? 12. Salt, the cheapest thing on the shelf. But the first thing you will look for when everything shifts, you never think about salt until you no longer have it. It is not noticeable, not expensive, no one talks about it, and that is exactly why it is overlooked. But look closely. Salt is in almost every meal. Without it, food becomes bland, the body becomes sluggish. When prices start to shift, basic items like salt do not disappear gradually. They disappear very quickly. Not because they are scarce, but because everyone realizes at the same time that they need it. The price of salt does not spike sharply. It rises quietly, following transportation costs, energy prices, the things you do not notice, until your bill changes. But the real story is not about price, it is about your body. Salt does not give you energy, but it determines whether your body can function normally. Without salt, you do not collapse immediately. You weaken gradually, slow down, become fatigued. And that is the most dangerous kind of deficiency. But here is what truly makes salt different. It does not spoil. It does not need refrigeration, does not require complex storage. It needs only one thing. The key is simple. Do not let it get damp. Salt does not fear time. It only fears the environment you place it in. Keep it dry, keep it sealed, and it can sit there for years without changing. Avoid keeping salt in thin packaging, placing it near the stove, opening it every day. Then, when it clumps, people think it is no longer good, when the problem was never the salt, but how they stored it. A small jar of salt can help your food last longer, make meals easier to eat, keep your body more stable. And when everything begins to change, you will not look for expensive things first. You will look for the things you always took for granted. Salt is one of them. Right now, in your kitchen, it is there. The question is, are you keeping it as a habit or as part of your preparation? 11. Cooking oil, not on the plate, but determines whether you can cook or not. You can have rice, noodles, beans. But without oil, you will realize your meal is missing something very basic, the ability to cook. Oil is not the main dish, but it is the trigger. Without it, many things you have become hard to eat, even unusable. Oil prices do not rise gently. They react directly to energy costs, fertilizer, and harvest conditions. When those shift, oil is often one of the fastest moving items. And when people start to worry, they do not buy one bottle. They buy in bulk. That is when shelves go empty. Oil is a dense source of energy. A small amount delivers a lot of calories, helping simple meals feel more complete. In times when portions are reduced, this is not a small detail. It is what keeps your energy from dropping too quickly. Storing oil properly matters more than you think. Light, heat, and air are the three things that degrade it. So dark bottles, sealed tight, kept in a cool place are the basics. With coconut oil or ghee, stability is higher, heat tolerance is better, suitable for longer storage. With oils that oxidize easily, it is better to buy moderate sizes and rotate rather than leaving a large bottle open too long. A simple tip many people overlook: use oil at the right time. Quick searing, adding it at the end to preserve flavor, avoiding long heating that breaks it down. Do not keep oil near a hot stove or open it too often. You are shortening the life of the very thing you need to preserve the longest. Oil does not appear on the plate, but it determines whether the meal exists at all. When things start to get harder, you will understand why a bottle of oil is worth far more than it looks. 10. Powdered milk. Not alive like fresh milk, but lasts longer than almost anything else. It sounds paradoxical. The thing that has had all the water removed is the one that holds its value the longest. Fresh milk spoils quickly because it is still alive. Powdered milk is the opposite. The water is removed, bacteria no longer have an environment, and what remains is concentrated nutrition, waiting for you to reactivate it when needed. When the cost of milk, cold transport, and energy rises, fresh milk is the first to react. Prices move with the cold chain. Powdered milk, because it does not require refrigeration, is more stable and often becomes the alternative when people start tightening spending. That is when demand rises and prices follow. This is not just about calories. Protein, calcium, vitamin D, things that are hard to maintain when meals are reduced. For older adults, this is critical. Bones, muscles, recovery. A glass of powdered milk is not impressive, but it fills nutritional gaps that many do not notice until the body signals it. How you store it determines everything. The enemy is not time, but air and moisture. Opening a large package and using it gradually is the fastest way to degrade it. A better method: Portion it from the start, store in airtight containers, add desiccant packs if possible, and open one portion at a time. Skim milk powder usually lasts longer than whole milk powder. Less fat, less risk of rancidity. A small tip: use warm water at a moderate temperature to mix, avoid clumping, and preserve taste. An expanded use many people overlook. Powdered milk is not just for drinking. It goes into baking, porridge, coffee, soups, turning simple foods into more complete meals. A common mistake is storing only one type, or placing it near a hot stove. You are shortening the life of the very thing you need to keep the longest. Powdered milk does not create a sense of freshness. It creates continuity. And when supply chains are stretched, the thing that helps you maintain quality of life is what matters most. So in your kitchen, are you keeping a bag of milk or a way to keep your body from declining? 9. White vinegar, the quiet protector of your entire kitchen. White vinegar is one of the most overlooked items, yet one of the most versatile things you can have at home. When it comes to inflation, many people do not think about vinegar, but in reality, it depends directly on industrial production, energy, and raw materials. Factors that are becoming increasingly expensive. The price of vinegar does not spike, but it rises steadily. And when you need it, for cooking, preserving, or even cleaning, you will not want to pay a higher price. Vinegar is not a primary source of nutrition, but it supports digestion, balances flavors in meals, and helps improve the absorption of certain minerals. But its biggest role is not in nutrition. Vinegar is a natural preservative. Its high acidity makes it difficult for bacteria to grow, which is why it is used to pickle vegetables, make fermented foods, and extend the shelf life of food. In a long-term food system, vinegar helps you turn fresh food into long-lasting food. Storing vinegar is extremely simple. Keep it sealed and away from light. It can last for many years without significant changes in quality. This is one of the few items where time has little effect, a tip many people overlook. Vinegar is not just for eating. It can be used for cleaning, deodorizing, even replacing many chemical products in the home. That means you save more money, not just on food. The most common mistake is not stocking vinegar because you think you can always buy it. But when supply chains are disrupted, simple items like this disappear faster than you expect. Are you using vinegar as a seasoning or as a tool to help you control your food? 8. Canned fruit. The thing that keeps meals from becoming monotonous in most stockpiling lists. Fruit is often overlooked. Not because it is unimportant, but because people think it is not essential. But when food prices rise, fresh fruit is one of the fastest to increase, because it depends on seasons, transportation, and cold storage. Canned fruit solves that problem. It is not dependent on seasons, does not require complex storage, and can retain flavor for a long time. When supply chains face disruptions, this is how you can still maintain a balanced diet. Canned fruit provides vitamin C, some minerals, and natural sugars. It does not fully replace fresh fruit, but in the long term, it helps prevent micronutrient deficiencies. But its biggest value lies in the psychological factor. When things become stressful, having something with a natural sweetness, something familiar, can help you feel more normal. And that is something many people do not prepare for. Storing canned fruit is quite simple. Keep it in a dry place, avoid impact. But you should check cans regularly. If there are signs of bulging, rust, or dents, discard them immediately. A cost-saving tip. Use the syrup in the can to make drinks or syrup. Do not waste it. And always rotate your stock. Use older cans first. The biggest mistake is focusing only on calories and forgetting the eating experience. When you eat the same thing every day, you lose the desire to eat. And that is the real problem. In your kitchen, how many things help you survive? And how many help you want to keep eating? 7. Canned beans. The only thing you can use immediately when there is no time left to wait. You do not realize this until it happens. The problem is not whether you have food, but whether you have time to prepare it. And when things start to break down, time is always the first thing to disappear. That is when canned beans become a different kind of option. No soaking, no long cooking, no preparation. You open the can, and you can eat immediately. It sounds simple, but this is the gap between having something to eat and not having time to eat. The price of canned beans does not rise loudly, but it is pulled by layers of costs you do not see. The metal for the can, the energy for production, the transportation from factory to shelf. When one link in that chain rises, the whole product moves with it. And because this is a convenient food, demand increases very quickly when people start to worry. That is why it is not rare, but it disappears fast. Beans are not a premium food, but they are durable. Protein, fiber, some minerals, enough to keep your body from weakening when meals become simpler. And more importantly, they do not require any additional conditions to use. No electricity, no stove, no fuel. You just need to have it in your hand. The key is not how long it lasts, but the condition of the can. A swollen, rusted, or dented can is no longer food. This is a mistake many people overlook. They stockpile, but they do not check. A small tip: write the purchase date on the can and rotate. Use the older ones first. This will not make your meals better, but it will prevent waste. Dry beans are cheaper, but canned beans are faster. And when things are no longer operating normally, speed is sometimes more important than cost. In your kitchen right now, how many things can you eat immediately without waiting? You do not fail because you lack food. You fail because you think you were prepared enough. 6. Dried beans. The thing that can keep you alive for weeks. But most people do not know how to use. You can survive on dried beans longer than you think. Not a few days, not a week, but many weeks if you know what you are doing. It sounds simple, but this is exactly what many people miss. When food prices start rising, people rush to buy meat, convenience foods, familiar items. But at some point, they realize protein becomes too expensive. And that is when they turn back to the cheapest, most durable, and longest sustaining option: dried beans. Its price does not rise loudly, but it rises in a very real way. When meat gets more expensive, demand for beans increases. When demand increases, bean prices follow. It does not take a major crisis, just tighter budgets. But the reason dried beans are worth stockpiling is not about price. It is about sustaining the body. Beans provide protein, fiber, and energy enough to keep you from weakening when meals become simpler. They are not immediately appealing, but they keep you going longer than you expect. And here is something many do not mention. Dried beans almost never spoil if you store them properly. The key is keeping them dry, sealed, and away from air. No refrigeration, no complex conditions. Just avoid moisture, and they can last for years. One important note is not to leave them in store packaging. That is not storage. That is waiting for them to degrade. Move them into airtight containers. Add desiccant packs if possible, and store in a dark place. And if you have never cooked beans before, try now. Because when you actually need them, you will not want to learn from scratch. Dried beans are not fast. They take time. But when everything around you starts slowing down, that becomes the advantage. In your kitchen right now, how many things can sustain you for days, not just one meal? 5. Oats, a meal that is not loud, but keeps you from breaking down. Not every meal helps you go further. Some only keep you from collapsing too soon. Oats belong to the second type. It is not impressive, not immediately tasty. But when life becomes unstable, when meals are reduced, what you need is not peak performance, but stability. Oats do one thing well: keep your energy steady. Slow carbs, high in fiber, no quick spikes and crashes. In inconsistent eating days, that matters more than any marketing claim. You may not notice it in one meal, but you will feel it clearly after 3 days. Its price does not swing like meat or fish. It moves slowly with farming costs, transportation, processing. When everything else rises, it rises too, quietly, steadily. And because anyone can eat it, demand never disappears. How you use it determines its value. Cook it quickly, soak it overnight, eat it cold with water or milk. One ingredient, many options. When choices shrink, versatility saves you from monotony. Do not wait until you need it to try. Eat it while things are still normal, so your body is used to it. Keep it dry, sealed, away from light. A cardboard box is not long-term storage. One exposure to moisture is enough to degrade the whole batch. Portion it, seal it, store it in a cool place. Simple, but it has to be done right. You do not need to love oats. You just need to trust its consistency. When your energy starts to drop, you will understand why something so plain can sustain you for so long. 4. Pasta, the thing that turns a few remaining ingredients into a complete meal. When things start running low, you no longer cook from recipes. You cook from what is left. And that is when pasta shows its real value. It is not impressive, but it connects everything in your kitchen. A little oil, some beans, a few pieces of canned meat. Mix them together, and you have a meal. Not fancy, but enough. Behind a pack of pasta is an entire chain of wheat, milling, production, and transportation. When energy prices rise, when grain supply tightens, pasta does not spike immediately. It moves up slowly, then stays high. And because it is cheap, easy to cook, and accessible to everyone, when stockpiling behavior spreads, pasta is cleared off the shelves. Pasta does one thing well: deliver energy quickly and steadily. It does not require many additional ingredients, and it does not require high skill. In times when meals are reduced, it helps you maintain your rhythm. Storing pasta is not complicated, but details determine its shelf life. Cardboard packaging is the weak point. Moisture and insects get in before you notice. A better method is to transfer it into airtight containers or vacuum-sealed bags. Store in a dry, cool place away from light. Done properly, pasta can maintain quality for years, not just months. A tip many people overlook: cook with just enough water and keep a little of the cooking water. That starch helps bind sauces, turning a simple meal into something more complete without needing extra ingredients. A common mistake is relying entirely on pasta without thinking about how to upgrade it. And that is when you get bored quickly. Pasta is not something you show off. But when choices shrink, the thing that can combine with everything else will stay the longest in your meals. 3. Canned tuna, something you can open and eat immediately. But it depends on fuel more than you think. A food you can open and eat right away actually depends heavily on oil. Fish does not just appear on shelves. It requires boats to go farther, stay longer, and use more fuel. When oil prices rise, the cost of fishing and transportation rises with it. You do not see it immediately on the price tag, but you will see it on your bill a few months later. Canned tuna exists in the kitchen as a no-wait option. No electricity, no stove, no preparation. A small can, open it, and you have protein, fat, omega-3. On days when you cannot cook, it keeps meals from being interrupted. And when many people realize this at the same time, canned fish shelves empty faster than you expect. Storing tuna is not about how long it lasts, but about the condition of the can. An intact can is safe. Swollen, rusted, dented, discard it. No compromise. A simple tip: write the purchase date and rotate using first in, first out. This does not make your meals better, but it ensures you do not waste what you paid for. To avoid monotony, think about combinations. Mix it with pasta, eat it with rice, add a little oil or canned vegetables. One can go into many meals without needing many extra ingredients. A common mistake is keeping everything in one corner and forgetting to check. When you remember, some cans may no longer be usable. Canned tuna is not something you think about every day. But when things are no longer convenient, you will look for what does not require waiting. And the question is not whether you like eating fish. It is what options you have left when the stove is off. 2. Canned chicken. Already cooked at the factory. So you do not have to pay with your time. It sounds counterintuitive. Meat usually needs cooking, but some meat is already cooked before it reaches you. And that is exactly what makes it an advantage when time, electricity, and fuel are limited. Canned chicken is protein in a ready-to-use state. Open it and use it. Behind each can is an entire chain. Feeds such as corn and soy, farms, processing plants, sterilization, packaging, transportation. When costs at any point in that chain rise, the price is pulled up. Meat does not rise gently. It reacts clearly to changes. And when people start cutting spending, they still keep protein. They just shift to more convenient forms. For the body, this is direct protein, helping maintain muscle and strength when portions are reduced. No complex seasoning, no long cooking. When you no longer have the conditions to prepare meals, something ready keeps your meals from being interrupted. Proper storage is essential. The can must be intact. No rust, no swelling. Store in a dry, cool place, away from heat. A valuable habit: organize and rotate. Use older cans first. Keep newer ones for later. You do not stockpile to leave it sitting. You stockpile to use it at the right time. To save more, turn one can into multiple servings. Mix with pasta, eat with rice, add canned vegetables. One protein source can stretch across several meals. A common mistake is keeping it too long without checking, or relying entirely on one type, making meals quickly become monotonous. Canned chicken does not make meals luxurious. It keeps meals from breaking down. And when everything becomes unpredictable, you do not need many options. You need options that are ready. So in your kitchen, how many things are already prepared, waiting for you to open them? 1. Flour, not food itself, but the thing that creates most foods. This is another paradox. Flour is not something you eat directly, but it stands behind bread, pasta, cakes, even many things you consider basic. When an ingredient can turn into many different things, it is no longer just food. It is the ability to create food. The price of flour is not just the price of a bag. It is the price of global wheat, fertilizer, transportation. When one of those factors shifts, flour does not rise immediately, but it climbs gradually and stays there. And because everyone can use it, demand remains stable until it suddenly surges. What makes flour different is its flexibility. You do not need many extra ingredients to make something edible. Water, a little salt, a bit of oil, you already have dough. Add yeast, you have bread. Without yeast, you can still make flatbread. When choices shrink, what can transform will keep you from getting stuck. Storing flour is not about leaving it in the original bag and using it slowly. The enemy here is moisture and insects. A tip many people do not use: freeze flour for 2 to 3 days right after buying it to eliminate insect eggs. Then transfer it into airtight containers for long-term use. Portion it, only open what you need. Store in a dry, cool place, away from light. Many people buy flour, but do not know how to use it. When the time comes, you waste time learning from scratch. Try making something simple now while everything is still normal. Because when things are no longer normal, you will not want to start over. Flour is not something you eat. It is what keeps you from depending entirely on store shelves. And the question is not whether you have flour, but whether you know how to turn it into a meal when needed. This is not food. This is the ability to not be dependent. What you just saw is not a list meant to make you worry, but a way to help you see more clearly what is quietly happening. Food prices do not rise all at once. They rise little by little until you realize everything has changed. And by then, you are no longer buying by choice. You are buying what is left. You do not need to stockpile everything. You just need to stay one step ahead. Choose the things you know you will use, store them properly, and buy when you still have the ability to decide. Because when things start to change, the time to rethink is almost gone. The difference is not that you have more than others, but that you are not reactive like them. And sometimes, just one small step of preparation today is enough to help you avoid a lot of pressure in the future.